there were a lot of people that were really up in arms last weekend before it launched, while it was launched, after it was launched, and they were trying to say, well, launch numbers are going to be so down, and I think the amount of players went down by like 50K.
Yeah.
Which is still good for one of the best weekends across either game. I don't think you saw that much of a drop-off. Now, where you saw a drop, and I guess I'll just kind of segue this, because this basically is the TWAB. We'll kind of segue this in. In the first week, 54% of players were full fire teams versus solos and duos. This week, only 45% were fire teams versus solos and duos, which is considered to be a sharp. To get enough solo players in, we need to offer rewards that are good enough and matchmaking that feels reasonable regardless of skill level. Right now, we have Ingrams that you can grind for, as well as attractive 7-win rewards, but only if you win. So the first goal here is to keep solo players playing. So week 1, solo wins were 23% of games. Blowouts, which is 5-0 losses, 38%. And the blowout rate went up steadily over the weekend, which is what I think caused them to say, we're putting a flawless pool in there.
Yeah.
Contrast that with week 2, 36% of games were solo wins. Blowouts went down to 29%. They want to get the solo win rate above 30% and blowouts under 33. Mm-hmm. So they're kind of trying to balance that. I think they saw a lot of data in week 2 that they liked on that end.
Yeah.
Keeping the game quality high. The sweet spot, we consider 5-1 matches non-competitive as well as 5-0. The sweet spot for us is really between 5-2 and 5-4. Those matches tend to feel good while playing, even if you end up losing. Week 1, we saw 60% of matches end at either 5-0 or 5-1. In week 2, the number of non-competitive matches dropped to 52%, but we'd like to drop that to 30 to 40% over the long term. Again, understandable. Like, this is a pinnacle mode. Yeah. This should not be something that I'm run. Don't get me wrong. I love going in and stomping 5-0. It's a great feeling in a mode like this. It's probably not going to last, though. But that's a really good amount of games that are still, like, even if you're only going to allow 30 to 40%, that's still a lot of non-competitive matches you're going to have.
Yeah. I mean, that's like, it's like one match every, like, 3 matches that you could do.
Yeah.
4 matches, so.
I think that that's basically, like, probably two matches in a flawless card would likely be blowout wins, statistically.
Yeah.
And I don't see a huge problem with that. It's going to happen. Trials is an event, yes, but it's a competitive mode. It is a pinnacle mode. This is equivalent to, like, PvP raids. Mm-hmm. That's what this is. Like, this is high skill level stuff, or like doing a Grandmaster or something. This is the top of the top, right? And I think that this is less intimidating of a playlist now to go into than competitive has ever been.
Right.
That is just a salt factory. Nobody enjoys that. They address matchmaking times in here, trying to keep it steady at just under 50 seconds per match. And they said the only reason it was even that high is because players who started off on a terrible streak would end up in a pool below the base pool that only looked for other players who had started off losing 10 rounds in a row. It's a very small pool with matchmaking times that last over 4 minutes before the system gives up and expands back to the base pool. They're checking all that out. Other things that worked. We had 700,000 players this weekend. Only 50,000 fewer than week 1. That is higher than expected, given a normal drop-off after launch. Combined with Distant Shore being the less popular map. Plus, 253,000 players went flawless.
That's a lot of
games
players.
That were games went 10% longer because they were more competitive. Mm-hmm. And I definitely felt that. We had some that went on forever. We had some that just, bam, we were through 5 rounds in like 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
Other times it was like, all right, I got to pull us out of matchmaking. I got to get a good drink. I got to go to the bathroom. We were in that for a while. Like, sometimes it went so long that, like, oh, the tiebreaker comes up, which forces you there. And I know even though we've adjusted those times, even 90-second rounds can feel like an eternity, especially on that 7th win when you're going for it.
Right.
Things that did not work. This is a really big section here. And this is kind of where I want to spend the bulk of the remainder of our trials conversation at. Things that didn't work. 34% less matches played overall, and the number of matches post-flawless dropped by 45%. That is mind-bogglingly bad. It basically says that about half players who went flawless never played another match in the weekend. Hello, I was one of them. I did not boot up into trials a single time after I went flawless Saturday evening.
You're done. You're retired. You're done.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done. I'm retired. I can hang up my cloak. But no, I didn't want to get put into that flawless pool is what I didn't want. So, and then we had, this is the interesting paragraph to me. We had reports of significant numbers of players resetting 5-0 or 6-0 cards, but we saw around 16,000 total cards that were reset while flawless but under 7 wins. Given the vast number of games and cards played, 2.7 million cards were started this weekend, by the way. This isn't a lot, but it is something we're watching as it's unhealthy for the mode if it becomes more common. This is something that I think if they kept the flawless pool in, this would become a big problem in about 2 to 3 weeks. I think this would just start growing because you're going to have people leaving the playlist, as always happens as a season goes on, right?
Yeah.
You get the rewards you want, especially people who were able to grind last weekend and get a whole bunch of regrets that first weekend. They're going, well, I don't really have a whole lot that I need anymore. I don't need to go play trials if I don't want to.
What would be the solution for this, though? Would it would it reset?
I'm not sure.
Reset every weekend? Could you reset your flawless every weekend? Like you don't get put into the flawless pool unless you go flawless that weekend.
That does reset every week.
Oh, that is what they're doing.
Yes,
okay.
Every single week your status is reset. Like if I went flawless last weekend, I will not be put in that pool this weekend. It is only your status for that weekend.
Then I wonder if they could take like personal statistics into that too, because like, what if you're?
I do think that's part of what they're doing.
Yeah, like because like, what if you're like playing with 2 friends that are awesome at trials and you're basically being carried and you like die every round or whatever, but like your KD ratio, your efficiency
that was the
is
concern that John and I both had about this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And they actually addressed this in this next one. Normally we see nearly 50% of players who go flawless doing so with someone else who is already flawless. Last week it was 56%. This can either be a traditional carry or just playing with friends. That number dropped to 16% in the second week of trials, which is unacceptably low for friend game content. I think they're going to address that a little bit because it made it so hard for people who have gone flawless to go back and do, whether you're a streamer like Grenadier Jake, who does he does carries with his community.
Right.
Over on Twitch. Great guy. Go support him. We love Jake. One of the only PvP streamers that I watch. I watch him and True Vanguard a lot. He's really good about it. Understandably, he was outraged about these changes last week because he's like, that's like my whole MO is taking people to the lighthouse and like taking my viewers and, people like that, people who've been in my community and things like that. Like, he lets you gamble channel points basically.
Right.
And whoever bids the most gets to do a card with them. So for people like that, I see why it's frustrating. On the flip side, John was saying, he goes, well, what if you, me, and our buddy Phil managed to go flawless? He goes, then I can't play with my girlfriend the rest of the weekend on any character because I'll automatically be put in that flawless pool.
Yeah, I wonder if
that's
they could do. Because they should do like if you're playing with your friends and someone's not flawless, maybe you just don't go into the flawless pool, or like you take into consideration how often your teammates played trials or if they've gone flawless before or something. I mean, I know that that's probably not an easy thing to do, or maybe it is. Maybe they have algorithms and data in there that they can show and be like, hey, these people go flawless all the time and this guy's never gone flawless. How do we adjust that,
Or like this person, like on average does it like once a week. Like here's their overall PvP KD, things like that. Here are the changes that they put in the hotfix today that will take effect tomorrow when they flip the switch. Sunday morning reset will enable the flawless pool. This serves as a middle ground between week 1 and 2 and is the semi-permanent placement for enabling the flawless pool. As always, we'll be looking at analytics and feedbacks, keep telling us what works and what doesn't. We are working on deeper matchmaking solutions, which we hope will let us remove the flawless pool. Look for more info in mid to late October. Great. We said it last week. We said it the week before. We said it when the trials changes were announced during the Witch Queen stream. Take these 6 months, nail this down, and then apply whatever you do here to Iron Banner.
Right.
That's what you need to do. You copy, paste. That's what you need to do. Yeah. So I really like that. And then we're turning off matchmaking help until you played at least 2 matches during the weekend. I think this is really good. I really like these changes. Specifically, I do think the Sunday morning reset is a healthy medium. You have 2 nights then during your weekend. If you work Friday and Saturday, I don't know what to tell you. Somebody is always going to get screwed.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
Yeah.
But I think that's a healthy ground to say, okay, you had 2 full days. You had a 48-hour period to do your flawless, to do your carries, things like that. Sorry, it's gonna get a lot harder after noon. And I know inevitably some people are gonna be like, well, why can't we push it to Monday? Well, because nobody plays trials on Monday night or Tuesday morning except for the sweats. Like it's not gonna work. And then like it's a weeknight on top of that. Like trials is a weekend event.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been a proponent of play the change before we scream at them. I want to see how it feels. I will genuinely go play if I manage, which big if, because I'm not going to go in every weekend expecting to go flawless again. Like if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. This will let me still enjoy the mode all weekend though.
Yeah.
On a weekend when player count is probably going to dip pretty hard with a Halo Infinite flight happening.
Oh yeah.
As well as I don't know if people are really going to respond well to the Trials Labs mode that's going to be up this weekend, which I'll go back and cover here in just a second. We covered some of the previously announced changes. They are going to be doing in the future. They will be removing the matchmaking counter in the future so that you cannot see when people join. You'll only be told when you have a full 6.
Right, because don't people like stop matchmaking? Aren't they taking it out so people, if like a 3-stack jumps in while you're matchmaking, people stop matchmaking because they don't want to go up against a full team? Isn't that kind of what it is?
Definitely did that. I definitely did that a few times, but it's also you have 3 stacks that'll go looking for solo players now.
Oh, okay.
So, and then what to expect looking forward. We expect to take another swing at matchmaking and keep some of the solo/lower skill protections from week 2 without strongly negatively affecting flawless players. We're looking at adjustments to rewards for round and match wins on 7-win cards. Thank God. That would make me not reset it or turn in my flawless card until the end of the weekend then. And then other than that, updates and trials TWAB reports will be less common as we get trials into a more stable state. So I love hearing all that. I want to talk about what you call it?
Trials Labs?
I lost my train of thought. Trials Labs. I want to talk about Trials Labs real fast. Just to kind of finish off this whole conversation. Trials Labs is what will be enabled this week. When you are listening to this, Trials Labs will probably be live or will be close to be going live. This is similar to what we used to have with Crucible Labs, where they would try out new modes and new ideas. The normal Trials of Osiris playlist is replaced with Trials Labs Capture Zone. This new mode is still elimination with the following changes. 30 seconds after the round starts, a capture zone is enabled. Players can capture this zone to win the round, or just eliminate the other team like normal. The capture zone has a waypoint from the start of the round, including a countdown timer, so everyone knows exactly when and where it will be. The zone starts in the middle of the map in the first round and changes location each round. I really like this. It's going to force you to not play the lanes.
Right.
I actually really like this. The team who just lost gets the advantaged spawn location. I like that. It's going to force you into a firefight. I'm here for it. I want to try this. This sounds exciting. And it's double trials rep on top of that. Double trials rank points for every match. You're feeling the blues of Fabled and Mythic. Me. This is a great week to reset. That's fantastic. I probably put in about 4,000 or 5,000 points last weekend, so I look forward to getting a reset this week. I like it. I think that this is exciting. How do we make this mode spicier than just 3v3 firefight?
I think this is a cool twist on it. It's definitely a cool twist.
Definitely a cool twist. I like that it favors the team that just went or just lost a round, because now everyone can just like kind of sprint at it.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to force the team that just won to keep up the aggression. They're going to have to keep playing aggressive to take it, right?
Right.
I do think that this also danger, and this is why I don't know if it's going to be a permanent mode. If you don't kill real quickly, I think it puts a lot of pressure, because Duskfield grenades anybody, you chuck one of those at that point when people are standing on it, you're going to freeze them, and then you just shatter dive in or shoot the crystal or whatever. This is going to present some other problems. Like, I'm always for things that will make me rethink my loadout and make me rethink my strategy. This definitely feels like it's going to be one of those things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm excited to see how this goes. I'm very, very ready. We'll see. We'll see. Definitely let us know your opinions on Trials. If you hopped in and played some, I want to know what you guys think. Because this is just intriguing.
Yeah.
I also never knew that the Trials emblems changed your armor color. I never knew that.
Oh, does it? They do?
Yeah, so if you put on the Flawless emblem, your Trials armor will glow red.
Oh.
Where the gold accents are will be red instead. If you put on the 7-win emblem, like the Lost, it will turn it blue.